And in business this afternoon, President Akufo-Addo grants approval to zero price stabilization and recovery levies on petrol, diesel and LPG for 2 months. And on the international front, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un calls for improving people's lives amid grim economy. We have details of these stories and more, including sports and entertainment, if you stay with me over the next 60 minutes. Let's begin, however, this afternoon from the Ashanti region, because 2 more bodies have been recovered after a search party was discharged following a canoe incident on the Ofin River. It brings the total number of persons drowned to 4. 5 people, we understand, went missing after a canoe they were traveling on capsized on River Ofin in the Achimamponua area. Now, 4 people, however, managed to swim to safety. And the latest we're getting from there is that 2 more bodies have been retrieved, taking the death toll now to 4. And a 5th person who was feared also missing or drowned has returned. We're told he traveled and so was not part of the entourage that was on this particular canoe that capsized. We're going to be joined on the line in a short time by the Achimamponua District NADMO Disaster Control Officer for Agogoso Zone, Maxwell Edu. He joins me on the line. Thank you for joining me here. So the latest is that 2 more bodies have been retrieved. What more can you tell us about the NADMO operations that have been going on for the past few hours? Hello, Mr. Edu.
Hello, your line is not stable.
I'm asking, what more can you tell us about the search party you have dispatched following this particular canoe incident on the Ofin River?
Your line is not very stable. It's cutting.
I'm afraid he cannot hear me. Maxwell Edu is the NADMO officer for the Agogoso area. He's simply unable to hear me, but we are hoping to find out from him the latest in terms of a search party that was dispatched to attempt to find the individuals who were reported missing after this particular boat incident happened. And now we know that 4 people in all have so far died from that particular disaster. We're going to be trying one more time to see if Mr. Michael Edu can hear me. Maxwell Edu, thank you for joining me. I'm asking what you can tell us about the search party and the rescue efforts that was underway. Have you called it off now that we know that the 5th person in this particular instance was not on the boat at all? Unfortunately, Maxwell Edu cannot hear me, and so we will be getting a lot more subsequently if you stay with us. But let's move away from that. Many more complaints about sexual harassment by some priests of a Catholic church are emerging after a lady wrote to the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Accra about incidents at Star of the Sea Catholic Church at Dansoman. Pressure is mounting on the church to publicly speak on the specific claims at the Dansoman parish, in which a lady is requesting the church to address issues of abuse there. So let me just quickly run by you those details of a letter written by a lady to the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Accra. She's specifically asking the Metropolitan Archbishop to intervene and address those issues of sexual abuse. Now, in that letter she wrote to the Archdiocese, which was subsequently responded to, the Archbishop addressed her and assured that they were addressing these particular matters and that a sexual abuse officer had been, assigned to look into these particular matters. But following that, there's been a lot more revelations from individuals on social media who have also been speaking up. So one of those individuals wrote, for example, "My sister told me, do not permit a priest to do anything with you, as it is a great sin and you will go to hell." That's one of the individuals who was speaking. It also says, "I can recall," this is another one, it says, "I can recall the number of times I had to change my certain positions in church growing up because I didn't like the way the priest looked at me during catechism." So those are just 2 of a number of issues relating to sexual abuse in the Catholic Church that has come up in the last few hours. We're going to be speaking to the Reverend Father Wisdom Lawe. He will be speaking to us. He's from the Archdiocese of Accra. He'll be getting us a lot more on this. Thank you for joining us here on Media Live. First of all, I think it's commendable that the Archdiocese has an office specifically related to, child abuse and, clerical sexual cases like this. But is it the case that it is such a big deal that you are dealing with, for which reason an office like this has been set up?
Hello.
Hello, Father Lawe, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Great. I'm saying that it's commendable that you have an office like this to address some of these concerns, but some have said, for example, that indicates that there's a problem of abuse in the church that you are taking a serious view of. That is why an office like this has been set up.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. You are very much aware that the church has suffered
Reverend Father, I think you're listening to me. If you can just turn down the volume of the television so you can hear me directly from the phone, so we have a proper connection to you. I'm afraid we are having technical challenges listening or hearing from Reverend Father Wisdom Lawe. He is in charge of child abuse cases and clerical sexual abuse cases at the Archdiocese of Accra there. We're hoping to get him to respond to the specific issue about the Star of the Sea Catholic Church in Dansoman, in which a member of that church, a female, has written to the Metropolitan Archbishop to address issues of sexual harassment against her and many others in the church. Let's see, maybe subsequently he'll join us for that conversation. Now, it appears the medical examination reports for 18 victims of alleged sodomy incident at Kopi Junior High School will have to delay a little longer as cost of signing the medical report and the police report escalates to 1,300 per victim. Our Savannah Regional Correspondent Christopher Marco, who has been following this story since it broke, has filed this report.
Doctors at the urology department of the Tamale Teaching Hospital who conducted this medical examination are demanding some 1,300 Ghana cedis per child to be paid before the release of the medical report. According to information gathered by TV3, the doctors are charging 800 Ghana cedis for the medical examination report per child and 500 Ghana cedis to endorse the police medical form. So this has triggered some form of argument between the non-governmental organization Developing Kids Ghana, that is footing the bills for the medical examination, and medical officials at the urology department of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. So far, according to the non-governmental organization, they have spent over 8,600 Ghana cedis on medical processes. Talk about the laboratory test, which cost between 300 to 400 Ghana cedis. And this time, the doctors to append their signatures on the reports are saying that they will require 1,300 Ghana cedis from each of the 18 pupils to be able to facilitate this. So in all, they are still expected to pay over 14,000 Ghana cedis before the medical reports and the police form that has been endorsed by the medical officials will be released to the police for further action. This, according to police, is impeding upon investigations because they are expected to go back to court on the 13th of October, even as we speak, as they are yet to charge the suspect. So this is the latest update regarding the sodomy incident that happened at Kulupi in the East Gonja municipality.
Let's just stay with education-related stories a while longer because the Ghana Education Service headquarters in Accra is intensifying investigations into how some Form 3 students of Yinehim Catholic Senior High School in the Inchima Mpunya district of Ashanti region set a school block on fire. Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Opokwa Mankwa, tells TV3 security committees across the 16 regions have been notified to be on the alert based on intelligence picked up prior to students completing their final examinations. Before we do this, let's hope to speak to Reverend Father Wisdom Lawe again. Hopefully we have a better connection to him on the story involving sexual harassment of some individuals of a Catholic church, Star of the Sea Church at Dansoman. Thank you, Reverend Father, for joining us. Now, I was saying that it is complimentary that the diocese has an office specifically dedicated to issues like this. Now, would you say that it's such a big deal in the church, for which reason an office has been set up, for example?
Thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to your viewers. Let me say that, yes, you are right to say that it is commendable to have the Archdiocese set up an office and appoint also personnel to handle this matter. The matter is very important because we are looking at the integrity of the church in the preaching of the gospel to her members. And the church is a place where salvation is sought. The gospel is preached to bring relief and salvation to people. Okay. And so if there are such cases of abuses in terms of sexual abuses, the church would always take this matter up very strongly. And so the reason why the Archbishop has set us an office to ensure that this is dealt with. Okay. It is on the backdrop of the fact that the church worldwide has suffered this reputational crisis where some of her clerics, priests have engaged themselves in these abuses. Let me quickly say that the impression is being created as if our brother priests at the Star of the Sea Catholic Church in Dansoman are the ones who are perpetrating this sexual abuse. To put the matter in perspective, the complainant or this lady who wrote to the Archbishop asking that investigations be conducted into such cases is the member of the Star of the Sea Catholic Church. And it is not the case that sexual abuses are being perpetrated in the Star of the Sea Catholic Church. So I think that impression should be corrected on the minds of our viewers and the citizens as they listen to us.
Okay, and so the clarification again, if I got you right, is that this individual who wrote to you is not writing necessarily about abuses in the Star of the Sea Church at Dansoman specifically.
No, please. It's not about the Star of the Sea. She is a member of the Catholic Church, and she's a parishioner at the Star of the Sea Catholic Church. That is the impression. That is what she wrote to us about, and that is what we know. And it's not about abuses in the Star of the Sea Catholic Church.
And what's the nature of some of the cases, if you may, tell us about that has been spoken about, which you are dealing with at your office level?
Let me also quickly say that the concerns she has raised are all allegations. And that's the more reason why the letter you claim to have intercepted is a letter that is, first of all, commending her for her bold step in having to bring this to the attention of the Archbishop. And the Archbishop commended her for that courageous effort. Normally, in these abuses, it's very important that we remind ourselves that until we find anyone culpable, they remain allegations. And the reputation of individuals, even the perpetrators, as well as the victims, are all at stake. And so these are done in an atmosphere of confidentiality, not with the intention to cover up, but to ensure that all the parties to such supposed abuses are dealt with in a manner that do not expose anyone. Okay. You realize that even while I'm talking to you, I am not mentioning the complainant's name, because even her actions, while they are goodwill, could be misconstrued by others. So all of these parties must be protected, image must be protected and ensured that until we have clarity of facts and we are able to lay hands on specific cases, we can only be doing investigations to establish facts. And so that is where we are. Now, you asked about what cases. So generally, sexual abuses come in different forms. You know, it could come in the form of harassment. It could come in the form of rape. It could come in the form of some defilement. What we also try as much as possible to do is to ensure that the various environments of the church, so the church premises itself, our schools, our health facilities, are all safe enough for those who access them. Okay. Definitely, workers of the church also reach out to those who access the services of the church. And so, even as these personnel work in the name of the church, we ensure that they exercise their ministry, whatever services they render, within a certain safe environment to ensure that no one is hurt, no one is abused, and everyone is protected.
Okay. Before I let you go, Reverend Father, there's also the concern that sometimes these issues come up, the report has been made, the complaint has been made, then behind the scenes there's an attempt to victimize the individuals, then they back out of the allegations and the complaints they had made initially. That's what we've seen, you know, in the past few months. How do you respond to this specifically, and what's the assurance?
I don't think, you see, let me be very sincere with you, that taking these issues up comes with a lot of courage.
Right.
Sometimes a lot of shame and embarrassment go into that. It takes very strong-willed persons to step out and say, I've suffered this, I've gone through this, and so I need some redress. I don't think the church would on anything distress someone or do anything to ask anyone to discontinue an effort that is meant to unravel any situation of abuse,
okay,
or somebody suffering violence in the hands of any cleric of the church. I don't think that would be encouraged, and this is all part of the reasons why such efforts will be sanctioned. And just to assure the listening public and the viewing public that on any day, if there are any of such situations, kindly do not hesitate to report them to us so that the church can take the matter up.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll try as much as possible to do the best we can.
Okay.
But let me also say that the church has its own structures,
okay,
and would always exhaust the structures to ensure that abuse and violence in all its forms are minimized as much as possible. We also need to continue to educate our clerics to ensure that they themselves know the implications and the far ramifications of some of these concerns that come to our attention. So we'll do as much as possible to attend to possible perpetrators as well as victims and even complainants, families who have such concerns can always lay them at our table.
Thank you very much, Reverend Father Wisdom Lawe. He is in charge of child abuse and clerical sexual abuse cases at the Accra Archdiocese of the Catholic Church, speaking to us. Away from that, the Special Prosecutor Kissi Ejabing has dropped all charges in relation to the tax evasion case brought against Bawku Central MP Mahama Ayariga. The MP had been accused of using public office for private gain. The case was started by then Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. Now, in his first appearance as Special Prosecutor on Monday, Kissi Ejabing entered a nolle prosequi in respect of the charges. He told the court that his outfit wants to discontinue the case because it has been unable to gather enough evidence to prosecute the Member of Parliament. Now, Kissi Ejabing told the court on Monday that, quote, we wish to inform the court of the Republic's intention to enter nolle prosequi in respect of all cases against the accused person, unquote. Now, he based the decision on two reasons. The first is that the Republic deemed it unable to prove its case based on available evidence on the stand of proof on criminal basis, that is, to prove beyond reasonable doubts. The second reason, he said, was that, quote, this case appears certain to suffer the same fate as the earlier one, with the case number FT 0122-019, the Republic versus Hawa, Nichema, and 6 others, which were dismissed on May 7, 2021, on the application of submission of no case to answer. The case was started by, as we told you, former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu, who resigned in 2020, days after the demise of his mentor, Jerry Rawlings. Let's now listen to Special Prosecutor Kissi Ejabing. He spoke to journalists after court proceedings.
Yeah, this morning we just entered the nolle prosequi in respect of the second case against Honorable Mahama Ayariga and Kendrick Mafo. It's simple. When I assumed office, we have further scrutinized the docket, and upon the available evidence, we deem it that the Republic will be unable to prove its case based on the standard of proof required in criminal cases, that is beyond reasonable doubt. We will not be able to do it. And secondly, it appears certain that it will suffer the same fate as the first one, which is similar to this one, which was dismissed on 7 May 2021 on an application of submission of no case to answer. It will be a complete waste of time if we were to open this case further and go to the length where it will only be dismissed on the submission of no case to answer. So having re-examined the docket, gone through it, we've taken this decision. So as it stands, there's no charge against Honorable Mahama Ayariga. There's no count against him. He's a free man. We have entered the nolle prosequi. That is to say, we've ended the case this morning. We've discontinued it. There's no charge against Honorable Mahama Ayariga as it stands now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Special Prosecutor Kiseja been there. Now, the Ghana Education Service headquarters in Accra is intensifying investigations into how some Form 3 students of Nyinahini Catholic Senior High School in the Etrimamponya district of Ashanti region set the school block on fire. Director General of the Ghana Education Service, that is Professor Opoku Amankwa, tells TV3 security committees across the 16 regions have been notified to be on the alert based on intelligence picked up prior to the students completing their final exams.
We as Ghana Education Service, we condemn it in no uncertain terms, and we expect that the security agencies will work as fast as they can to get us the required report so that we can act effectively on that. Around 1st October, we issued a directive to our regions and to our districts and to our schools about the need to ensure that we put in security measures. They work with the district regional security agencies to ensure that when the students finish school or about to finish school, everything is put in place so that there wouldn't be any issues of violence and the destruction of school property and all that. As of now, we've not received any hints of the perpetrators, but we are very certain from the signals that we are picking that we will receive something that will give us the opportunity to crack the whip. But what we do is that whenever we get any issues relating to security, we work closely with the security agencies in the districts, in the regions, and at national. And whenever we get something of that nature, it goes beyond the school itself. We have our disciplinary processes when there are issues that we can put it, but if it has something to do with security that goes beyond the school, we are always in touch with the security agencies to ensure that there is peace on our campuses.
So you heard the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Opoku Amankwa, there speaking to us. We are joined on the line by Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare. Thank you, Mr. Asare, for joining us. Now, some have said, for example, what we witnessed at Nyinahini is a clear example of a security lapse, because we are getting information that, in fact, there were police officers on campus, and just right after they left campus, this particular incident happened. From where you sit and all that you know, would you lay the blame at the doorstep of the Education Service? Hello, Kofi Asare. I'm afraid Kofi Asare cannot hear me. We'll be trying to establish contact with him to give us a perspective on this. We just heard there from the Ghana Education Service Director General. He's just saying that they are intensifying their probe and they have picked signals of who may have been responsible for this particular incident. But for the chief of Nyinahini himself, it is very clear that this particular incident was instigated by final year students who had just completed the exams.
Government has introduced free SHS. Students should be grateful. They should appreciate the government's effort. Why set the school ablaze when you have gone through the walls of the school? Everybody is proud of his former school. Everybody is proud. We talk about all students associations, how they help with the development of their various schools. And you, somebody who has just passed out, come back to burn down the school. It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
So you heard the chief of Nyehine there speaking to us following the incident at the Catholic Senior High School there. Mr. Sari, hopefully you can hear me. I'm asking, some have laid the blame of this particular incident at the doorstep of the Education Service. They say the Education Service was lax in its, implementation of what it had told us was intelligence gathered earlier about plan to burn or destroy school property in that particular school. What do you say to this? I think Kofi Asare cannot simply hear us. Our technologies are failing us here today on the news. But we'll be coming to you back with a lot more stories. Please stay with us.
Zoom right here in my house. Hey,
look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint champion.
Nominations for the 5th anniversary of the Ghana Energy Awards is officially opened until 20th October 2021 under the theme Digitalized Energy Sector, the key for a resilient economic future. Categories for this year include the Energy Personality of the Year, CEO of the Year, Excellence in Digital Service Delivery, Energy Institution of the Year, Digitalization Project of the Year, Energy Company of the Year, Rising Star, Energy Reporter of the Year, and many more categories. To file nominations, visit www.GhanaEnergyAwards.com. Please call 055-930-0631. That is 055-930-0631 for sponsorship and inquiries. Validation is done by Mazars Ghana. Ghana Energy Awards, redefining excellence.
Boss, me pacho phone shop bia makubia. No bon Eddie. Sir. Okay. Good day, Jamari. Minimum. I am grow. Say yes, it's a whooping phone, Papa, and a Canadian Nadia. I just a one Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone Bia, also be a whooping Bia. This a Franco Trading Enterprise. If I am also any phone on one or two phones and then a Canadian. So we will be a wood to a cotton. Once also a fuck a craving one cotton and Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone Papa Fienia.
Princess pen drives.
Absolutely stunning.
Tiger completes one of the greatest comebacks in Masters history.
Oh, Durant throws it down.
Sports Station shows Mondays at 9 p.m. Brought to you by Betway.
Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil. Super Yogo.
Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemist.
Charlie, I know you've been to other parties and you've had all the cakes, you've done the fufu just like myself, eating banku and all of that. Christmas is approaching, but we need to shred off some weight. We need to lose some weight. We need to go to the gym, and it's an opportunity for you and I to lose weight before December. Now, it's the Prudential Life 3FM Party Fit Challenge. Charlie, I go some.
The date is the 2nd of October to the 27th of November 2021.
It's just 60 days challenge. You for join me. It'll be only 150 cities pay. If you come, we go lose weight the right way. How about that? Come register with us on this WhatsApp number. Let's go lose some weight the right way.
Take you now to the Western Region, where there was a standoff between officers of the Western Region Police Command and residents of communities along the Nchaban Junction to Mansour Road for several hours over a roadblock. The residents on Sunday mounted 4 separate roadblocks, impeding vehicular movements for several hours. The action comes on the back of a failed promise by city authorities some 3 months ago following a similar roadblock.
There's currently a standoff between personnel from the Western Region Police Command and residents of Ishim over this particular road. Now, this will be the second time in this year that this road has been blocked to traffic by residents. According to residents, the state of the road is in such a deplorable state that something urgent ought to be done. The last time that they met here, officials promised that this road will be rehabilitated. It's been more than 3 months since that assurance, and nothing has happened.
Ghana people, or pastor youth in a someone over, and someone will say no. Pastor, one mother youth in a baby, and someone with a noise. Yeah, you hear them in way, you hear them in way. Now, so paying the baby, I saw by some company or who got a deal with that. Why the demonstration come at 10 minutes? But I'm here there. I want to walk Ben, Obiantia, so what you ended up. No, Cassie Bell to combat. Because the more you could do to Mukujuma. The same one. That's compared to the Brewer. And you may bear for any bit more, I put a car passat. And when so no, I am a mechanic engine, my I break. Because I put up on electricity program, almost engine with me. I can't go on. It's your time. The company say, why? Shawan Khan, Shadangote, Shadam Coco a year why. It's ever quite from Johnson to Miles when I say, how many distance? Where can one demonstration for time? She said, me, I'm more Jabia Guan, son of Moses, and if you will find so many Bahana. Your funny other watch and the pair do see what from Mr. Mangata movie. And say it's more a fatty youth Nina, because I know some open school, I was netted it in so way. We are not so small boy who me pay free soon. You saw flame penny for Omufia, and it's a more media, and you say, but doom penny for now, Casal Mutino. Into a more day, no, Munyo Mibina, the best in the best in the.
The road has currently been opened to traffic by the heavy intervention of the personnel from the Western Region Police Command. But the residents are swearing that if they remove the blockade 100 times, they will remount it 100 times until such a time that they are convinced that once they remove the blockade, the road will be rehabilitated.
Masa yeni abi. O sende ene da. Wona nkese hwa mesima insha no nam ha. Ka ye for passengers no kroma. Ye ntum fo ntwakoni o. Ye sa wo ha no bidum so wo fon wechi wo do wonko. Enti masa waba won so wo den. Won ka bi man.
You're still watching Media Live here on TV3 with me, Komland, and we have business news after this. Please stay with us. In business, President Akufo-Addo has granted approval to zero the price stabilization and recovery levies on petrol, diesel and LPG for 2 months. A statement issued by the National Petroleum Authority said the approval follows the advice of the NPA to the Minister of Energy to seek government intervention to mitigate the impact of rising prices of petroleum products on the world market on consumers.
Prices of crude oil and refined petroleum products, according to the NPA, has seen sharp increases on the world market due to a rise in demand of oil globally without a corresponding increase in supply, particularly from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies. The NPA further stated that because pricing of petroleum products in Ghana is deregulated, changes in prices of petroleum products on the world market have a direct impact on prices at the pumps. The purpose of Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy is to stabilize prices for consumers and pay for the subsidies on premix fuel and residual fuel oil. At this time, it is important that the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy, which is currently 16 pesos per litre on petrol, 14 pesos per litre on diesel, and 14 pesos per kilogram on LPG, are zeroed to cushion consumers. The NPA noted it will work with the Ministries of Energy and Finance to quicken the legislative processes to give immediate effect to its directive by the President.
Kojo Poku is Executive Director at the Institute for Energy Policies and Research. He joins me for a conversation. Thank you for joining us. Now, per the statement that the NPA has issued, what would it mean to the fuel consumer directly?
Good afternoon. Can you repeat your question because I could hardly hear you?
I'm asking what this will mean to the consumer directly.
Well, from what we are hearing, NPA, the minister and the government through NPA have announced a reduction in the price, for the stabilization levy. That means that you are going to get a 14 to 16 pesos reduction in the pump price.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that will go along with like 16 pesos per litre reduction.
I'm afraid we're losing you, Mr. Poku. If you can just reposition yourself so we have a better connection to you. I suspect we have lost Kojo Poku there on the line. He was giving us the impact of this on the consumers of fuel directly there. Now, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has bagged over 587 million cedis from January to September out of a targeted revenue of 17 billion cedis, representing 7%. The Commissioner General, Colonel Kwejo Damwa, retired, says this year has been challenging but hopes the last quarter will pick up and be able to meet the set target. Here's a report by Josephine Ncheje.
Colonel Kwejo Damwa retired's visit to the Tema collection point was to interact with officers of the command and motivate them to deliver. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, Customs exceeded its revenue target by 1.6 billion cedis for the year 2020. The target for 2021 has been increased by 5 billion cedis for the Obatampa project, bringing their total target to 17 billion cedis. The Customs Commissioner says the current figures are still low and is only hoping that the last quarter could improve the figures.
This year, Customs altogether, we are supposed to collect close to about 17 billion. As at now, altogether, we are lagging behind around about 7%. But with us, Tema really matters. Tema usually will collect something around 80% of the total customs collection. So if Tema is performing well, it means that Customs will be performing well. And by Tema's performance, we are just behind up to September, from January to September, about 5.8%. Looking at it in terms of real figures, just around about 580 something million. It is not too much beyond us.
He charged the command to be vigilant in its operations to enable the division meet its set targets.
My appeal to you is that work extra hard, improve upon your efficiency and effectiveness in doing what you do, be more vigilant, ensure that you get the maximum out of the revenue that is due us.
That'll be all for business this afternoon. Let's do some other stories now. And teenage pregnancy poses one of the greatest challenges yet for the attainment of full potentials of adolescent girls in Ghana. The health, education and livelihood of over 100,000 girls who fall in the teenage pregnancy domain are put at risk each year. In a year-to-air documentary, my colleague Aisha Yakubu Khalid explores the challenges of teenage pregnancy as the world marks the Day for the Girl Child.
The conversation about adolescent pregnancy is one that we have played ostrich with. The public is outraged with current statistics, but it seems that very little is being done in the approach in the fight against the growing numbers. And if care is not taken, all attempts might fail.
I'd say somebody I really like that I'd maybe want to go out with. I'm caught up probably in a dilemma. So our relationship is shaky right now because I'm not willing to give in sex. I feel like a lot of these things happen a lot everywhere. We can't actually single out and say village or cities.
My dad will just tell you, when you are going to a guy's house, you just be like, hey, if you go and you come back and you are double, make sure that you are going out. The way he even talk and the expression on his face will even tell you that, Jesus, don't even try it. It really, really puts that fear in me.
That perhaps summarizes the challenges faced by the teenage girl today, and it will take a lot to mitigate the growing trend.
The 2021 Population and Housing Census says Ghana's population grew by some 6.1 million people over the last decade. More than 555,000 plus teenagers got pregnant between 2016 and 2020, according to the Ghana Health Service. That is a whopping 18% estimate of Ghana's population over the last 5 years, and a year's worth of population growth in the past 10 years. It is clear that the teenage pregnancy phenomenon may worsen, but the question is, why are so many girls falling pregnant in their teens?
Nowadays, every young person has a phone and is able to access any of their their Twitters, their Facebooks, whatever. And there are a lot of information on those things. So whatever they feel they are not getting the information, maybe from their parents, from the schools, they will go on the Google and then they will look out for the information. And you know, peers are able to discuss things that they can't discuss with parents, or things that they can't discuss with their teachers. And after the discussions, they will want to experiment. And nowadays, we all know, what's going on, that young people are such that certain things that they are not supposed to, that is what they will want to.
But what are the options in the face of scarce and fast depleting resources? Your guess is as good as mine.
So that's a feature put together by my colleague Aisha Yakubu Khalid titled A Future Unplanned. It explores the issue of teenage pregnancy and the impact on adolescent and young girls. It will air tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. on TV3, also across all our social media platforms. So please make a date. Up next is Sports with Yao Ofusulabi.
She's the bubbly one. She brings the fun to the show all the time. She oozes energy and class and makes the show tick.
Hi! Welcome to Ghana's best TV morning show, The New Day, right here on TV3.
He's the tough nut. He is Mr. Accountability. He keeps the powers that be on their toes, asking the tough questions.
Here, we interrogate the facts and dissect the critical issues.
But he knows how to get down. She is a queen of social issues. She is great personified. She is witty and entertaining.
And every morning, we help you start your day the best possible way.
And together, they serve you a completely enthralling offering of the best mix of news, current affairs, entertainment, health, sports, every morning on your award-winning morning show, New Day, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday. New Day, wake up, feel the sunshine. New Day is brought to you by Vodafone, Awake Purified Drinking Water,
Roma Insecticide Spray and Coil,
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, Kel Kids Toothpaste,
Cowbell, Our Milk,
Adonko Next Level Energy Drink.
Absolutely stunning.
Tiger completes one of the greatest comebacks in Masters history.
Oh, Durant throws it down. Well, that's get the shot on. He's done it again. Professor Azuma.
Sports Station shows Mondays at 9 p.m. Brought to you by Betway.
Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil, Super Yogo,
Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemist.
Nomi and Sabo. Opese ukofie. Unya yanka wedu fie dada. But as usual, there is traffic. We still have a little time. Yanko Fie on Connect 97.1 FM. Yebe bonyuma opedia mau. Eno ye friend no bomb mommy. And just before we call it a day, we'll go to town and listen to some unbelievable stories from anonymous callers. Yanko Fie on Connect 97.1 FM with me, Nana Ajwa Arthur, the Queen of the Airwaves.
Listen to Yankofie every Monday to Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Connect 97.1 FM. Connect FM, Yanyunam.
It's about to get more sporty with a touch of super entertainment with your favorite stars.
Times we played the Pittinge, the Chaskele, the football.
Who should I take? Tony Cruz? Why?
While keeping you up to date with every trending issue in your world of sports on Warmer Plus.
But in comes Thomas Tuchel and everything changes.
And when he said he wanted to be better than me, I was happy.
Let's keep it more sporty and super entertaining every Saturday on Warmer Plus, right here on TV3.
Hi, good afternoon. Let's do Sports News now here on Middle Live on TV3. My name is Iyal Ofusila. Ghana's Black Stars landed in Harare on Sunday night ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Zimbabwe on Tuesday. The two teams will square off again 3 days after the Black Stars secured an impressive 3-1 victory at the Cape Coast Stadium. 26 players, including England-based quartets Thomas Partey, Daniel Amate, Barbara Mann and Jojo Wolacott, because Zimbabwe are no longer on UK's COVID red list, made the trip for the important clash in Harare. And now still on the Black Stars, and Milovan Rajevac has bagged striker Jordan Ayew to regain his composure in front of goal and make a positive impact when Ghana plays Zimbabwe later tomorrow. Ayew is expected to start the must-win World Cup qualifier, although goal scoring has been a problem for the striker at both club and country. His last goal for the Black Stars came in March, a penalty against Sao Tome and Principe in the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier.
Dobro, znate kako, nije bilo lako njemu jer treba trčati dosta.
Yeah, Jordan was trying to do his best, and the players in the attack, both the players on the wings and him, they were trying, they were doing a lot of work. Especially after 1-0, we created one more excellent chance, so unfortunately we didn't use it. After the game, they became tired, so we needed to react and bring some fresh players to replace them. But according to the situation and circumstances, he was fighting well, and I don't have anything with his efforts.
Well, John, you then I'll be about from though he has 17 goals in 65 appearances for the Black Stars. Now, France and Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba added another international trophy to his collection on Sunday after winning the UEFA Nations League final. Pogba was instrumental as France defeated Spain by
vibe of negativity?
It was when it looks like every big person in the industry is trying to support me. It started from that Machi they did thing. He's a high life, this is a new high life king, this boy is holding, and people they didn't go down well with people because they thought there were a lot of people there, so you can't just crown one small boy who came 2 years ago that he's high life king and he's doing this and he's doing that. So I mean, sometimes some people praise God and they thank God for this young boy's life, and other people it doesn't go down well for them because they think maybe also and I said this boy should give us some small room or something. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I'm being loved because it's still my music in the airwaves and I appreciate it.
Okay, then I'm a little confused. You say you're loved. You can feel the love.
Yeah.
So if you can feel the love, then why should we die by fire?
No. It's I mean, it's not everyone that loves me. I can't say that.
Oh, so
even the Bible says that if everyone loves you, woe beside you.
Woe betide you.
Yeah, so it's not everyone that loves me. So there are very few that are not in one accord with me.
They should die by fire.
They shouldn't die. They should just be fired. I'm not actually attacking anybody. Okay. It's just a message out there that I'm not giving up because of you. No matter what shots are being thrown at me, I'm still safe because I'm in that bunker. Yeah. But I'm dropping another banger because of you. So the narrative is not for you to feel attacked.
Right.
It's for you to know that there is some guy somewhere who deserves love.
That's it. Agree.
Die by fire, my vibe.
Now, celebrated Ghanaian gospel icon Dinah Hamilton picked up the topmost award at the 5th edition of the Ghana Music Awards UK. The gospel singer beat 7 other contenders to emerge Artist of the Year. Here are highlights of the event held at the Royal Regency Hotel in London, September or October 9 on Saturday.
Powered by Alodia Promotion, the annual Ghana Music Awards UK honours some deserving musicians for contributing immensely towards the music industry in Ghana and overseas. The fun-packed night lined up some of Ghana's finest showstoppers, including Miss Bell, Akwaboah, Kofi Jama, Kweku Darlington, Dinah Hamilton. With over 30 categories, the epic and historic night honored musicians for contributing in the music industry.
So this is for Stonebwoy. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here tonight. Watch out for his concert in November. He's running free concert in the UK. Big up Big Nation worldwide. Big! We thank God for all the SM fans that support me. Champion!
Akwaboah took home High Life Artist of the Year and High Life Song of the Year awards. New Artist of the Year, Mr. Dew. Other winners of the night include Medical, Shatta Wale, Kiddy, Reggie and Boli. The ultimate award for the night, Artist of the Year, went to gospel icon Dinah Hamilton.
That'll be all for entertainment. Time now to find out what's happening beyond Ghana's borders.
North Korea on Monday said leader Kim Jong-un urged officials to overcome a grim situation facing the country and make stronger efforts to improve the food and living conditions of its people. But states media didn't mention any specific comments towards Washington and Seoul while reporting on Kim's speech marking the 76th anniversary of the ruling Workers' Party's founding. Nuclear negotiations between Washington and Pyongyang have stalled for more than 2 years over disagreements in exchanging the release of crippling US-led sanctions against North Korea and the North's denuclearization steps. The country has ramped up its missile testing activity in recent weeks while making conditional peace offers to Seoul, reviving a pattern of pressuring South Korea to get what it wants from the United States.
That'll be all from us this afternoon here on Midday Live. There's a lot more if you log on to 3news.com. I am Komla Adam. For myself, the rest of the team, say thank you for watching. Keep watching TV3.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.